On this episode, the Oracle of Delphi with Geoffrey, Beetem, and more Marble Weekend at Wheaton.
On the torch again. Just can't wait to get on the torch again. The life I love is making marbles with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the torch again.
Hey everyone, that was the Oracle of Delphi, and this is the Marblehead Show, episode 6. I'm Tim Keyzers. Thank you for joining me. That piece is a collaboration between Geoffrey, Beetem, and myself, and to me, it is a very, very special piece. It's special for a few reasons for what it represents to me. One thing it represents to me, how the piece was eventually made. So the backstory is that once upon a time, Geoffrey painted that image of the Oracle of Delphi onto a piece of flat glass, and he stored it away in a drawer, and there it sat for 15 years until one day he rediscovered it and decided, I'm gonna finally make this into an orb. And so he did. That really resonated with me because I am a sketcher. Like, I'll have all these ideas for pieces I want to make, and I'll sketch them out, I'll doodle them out onto paper, and then I put them in a file, and I put them in my filing cabinet, and there they sit. And then when I am between projects and I'm looking for inspiration, I'll go through that file and I'll rediscover ideas that I've had years ago. And when I go back to those ideas and I select one that seems more like on the crazy end of the scale, and I pursue those ideas are always awesome when I finally execute on those. Do yourself a favor and think about ideas you've had for a while and just do it already. Do it for yourself and do it for us. Another thing that this piece represents to me is how collaborations materialize in the first place. Last year at the Wheaton Show, I was hanging out with Geoffrey before the show and we were checking out each other's work. And that's when I first discovered the Oracle of Delphi piece. I was drawn to it right away because it stood out. It was so much different than the rest of his style of work. I really noticed how the play with the reflections on the piece, how the other marbles that were surrounding the piece reflected off the surface of the Oracle of Delphi. And so I commented to Geoffrey, like, hey, is this positioned here because of this? Because I think it's fantastic how these reflections are playing with this, and I could see it lending itself to a very small creative video. His response was, go for it, man. Why don't you take it with you? I'd love to see what you could do with it with your copper work. Let's go for it. It sounds fun. You know, the moral to that story is, if you really want to pursue collaborations with other artists, you got to get out there, you got to go to the shows, you got to meet these people face to face, see who your personality resonates with. You all know that marbles never look as good through video and photos as they do in hand, so you got to see the work with your eyes, strike up conversations, and then you end up walking away with relationships that then you pursue collaborations. So this whole like private messaging or DMing, hey man, I love your work, do you want to collab? That might work every once in a while, but it's never as great as when you go out and meet these people face to face, cultivate genuine relationships. Get out there, go to these shows, go to the Wheaton Show, it's coming up. Another thing that this piece represents to me that I think is really special is the idea that marbles in general, to me, represent an art form that is different than other art forms like painting and poetry in the way of it's a tactile experience. Marbles are meant to be held in hand and explored. So this is something that separates our art form from others in a beautiful way. And I think it's really cool that this piece, Geoffrey took a very traditional technique like painting. Not only that, he painted a traditional art form that is sculpture, because he painted a torso with the arms lopped off. It's a painting of a sculpture that then has been put into an orb, that then has been carved in electroform. So it has all of this tactile, textural quality. There's a weight to it, there's a scale to it. But ultimately, the real power behind the piece is this traditional sort of painting. And so to see these art forms all kind of meld together on the canvas of an art glass orb, I think is awesome. So that's another really special point to this piece. If you're not familiar with Geoffrey's work, you gotta check him out. There's links below. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram. Reach out to him, let him know that you checked out Oracle Delphi, that you dig it. Let him know what you think. Follow him on Instagram. Geoffrey will also be at the upcoming Wheaton Show, so you gotta go, introduce yourself, say hi, and check out the Oracle of Delphi in person. This piece will be there. On that note, I would like to share a little bit more video with you of the Wheaton Show 2014 that I have. I hope the Wheaton Show is on your radar, and I hope you're gonna show up this year and participate. So here is the video, enjoy. If you could collaborate with any artist in the history of mankind, who would it be?
I think it'd probably be Jerry Garcia. Of course.
Perfect. If you could collaborate with any other artist in the history of mankind, who would it be?
Leonardo da Vinci, yeah. Just like artist, inventor. I think that's awesome.
Picasso. Hands down. He did so many mediums, and he just to me, he's the epitome of an artist, not because of any one thing, but just everything.
If you could collaborate with any artist in the history of mankind, who would it be?
It would probably be the first glassblower I was ever aware of, which would be Bob Snodgrass.
I mean, in terms of who were my original, like, forces in glass who I would love to, be able to work with, the first ones were definitely like Josh Simpson and Chris Rice was a big one back in the day.
I'm gonna say James Alloway. I love his work, and I've been an admirer of his techniques and style since I started blowing glass.
So many people. Each person's really cool to do work with, because everyone has a unique perspective in general in life, and so with a body of work that it's all the more specialized and more individualistic. And so yeah, really, I mean, any glass artist that's passionate about what they're doing.
Any artist who makes work that inspires would be awesome.
Anyone who I could learn anything from, which would be anyone, because so many people have different styles and techniques. You're always going to pick something up, you know what I mean?
Can you explain a little bit about your style of work?
I do mostly mirroring scene marbles. Try to create story and a lot of depth, focusing on architecture and stuff like that instead of natural scenarios.
I do a lot of cold working and then relensing of the cold working to get different angles of fume work, and then a lot of carving and cutting on the back patterning and exterior of my marbles.
We do furnace work primarily. We incorporate a lot of torch work. We have a Lake's hand torch, but we also have started to put more and more fusing technique, incorporating that to get multiple layers and patterning that you can't get in a traditional furnace work. So incorporating those two has become more and more involved, but more stylistically, we're still probably more of a traditional look, but starting to move a little bit towards a little more abstraction.
Can you explain a little bit about your style of work?
Big. I started out with the pieces, loved the effect of vortexes, wanted to get more effect, so I went big.
Just like to explore and play with just natural forms and see what the medium wants to express within itself and try to filter that and try to apply it to design.
All things cosmic.
I still think there's a lot of room to cross over between torch work and furnace work. I think that the torch work guys have taken a lot of that, and torch workers in general have taken a lot of techniques and applied them, and I don't think it's necessarily come back the other direction yet. I think we have a lot of room to pick up on what torch work has done and expand on that.
And they can be more than just a glass ball, you know, that sits on a little plastic ring, you know.
Totally.
It's larger than that, and that's how I felt about it right from the beginning.
Is there anything exciting coming up in the future with your work that the marble world needs to know about?
Yeah, it's quite a bit of stuff actually. I'm working on a new skyline called Nightline. It's going to be a nighttime sort of scene with lit up windows and neon signs and stuff like that. And I have some people helping me with it, like Jason Lee and Greg Chase and Mike Warren and quite a few other really good Millie artists. So it's going to be great.
I'm starting to do more collaborations with different artists. The hottest thing coming out right now is a Scott Debbie Mothership piece featuring some of my work.
Pipe Masters collaboration. It's going to be up in Seattle at 7 Point Studios or the Borough School, and there's 25 artists, maybe more, but that was the goal, 25, and we're all going to collaborate from the 15th of October to the 25th. And yeah, a few cocktail parties and basically collectors able to purchase the work, and we'll probably have one. I assume, we don't really know what we're doing yet, we're figuring it out, but there'll probably be one main big project and a bunch of little satellite small projects between, you know, 2 or 3 or whatever, little handfuls of us, so that should be pretty awesome. It's going to be quite an event.
I'm kind of shifting gears. I'm going to be a missionary actually in Central America, and so I'm actually going to take my glass with me, and I'm going to be teaching at-risk teens to blow glass and hopefully give them I really have a heart for these kids. They're down and out. They don't have, most of them don't have fathers. And so I'm going to try and teach them a trade. It's a spiritual thing too. I'm a Christian, and so it isn't just I'm going over there for social justice kind of thing.
Right.
But so I won't be primarily making marbles as of January 2015 full time.
Anything exciting coming up in the future with your work that the marble world needs to know about?
I would just say my style's evolving. I got some good ideas coming, some new things that I want to try.
We're trying to push some new boundaries in my work. We'll see where it goes. I can't really say for sure.
It's always getting better, so just keep an eye out all the time.
If you've been liking the Marblehead show so far, please subscribe. It does make a difference. It lets me know people are watching, and it encourages me to keep on making more. So that's it for now. Thanks a bunch, and I'll see you next time.
On the torch again, going places that I've never been, making things I may never make again. And I can't wait to get on the torch again.